Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game FourCast, weekly gaming podcast where we all get together and chat about what we've been playing all week and all the latest gaming news. My name's Josh, aka BottlerWorks, and I'm here with Olive Meister, Will,
Hello.
and Steve, Quikwix,
Hi, I'm Quikwix, and I have no intro this week.
and Sam, Sammeh.
Hello, I'm Sam. And if Steve doesn't have an intro, I ain't got one.
Oh yeah, wasn't expecting anything from you, Sam. You're fine. You're fine. Kind of sad to miss the Steve one though.
Oh, I've been busy.
Oh, he's been too busy. All right, All right, I want to get. There's a lot of stuff to get through this week, so we'll start chucking the ball around quickly. I want to go straight to Sam because Sam mentioned earlier to me what he's been playing, and I'd never heard of it. It looked really cool, and I was like, "What is this?" So yeah, take it away.
Right. So I've been playing Monochrome Mobius, Rights and Wrongs Forgotten. And if you're thinking to yourself, what the bloody hell did he just call me? Yeah.
I think you said that, and then my response was just like, "No, have you played any real games this week?"
So it's a JRPG, right? It's an anime RPG.
No way.
Which, but it's from a company called Aqua Plus, who are apparently like quite popular and well known.
I've never heard of them.
Never heard of them.
Throw it out there. Never heard of them.
Yeah, I neither have I, so I wouldn't worry about it. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, I mean, it looks cool, right? It's a JRPG, like that's almost just good enough for me. Just
very low bar
of itself. But it's actually like kind of intense. Like
Right.
I was watching one of the cutscenes, and they do like a fight scene, right?
Yeah.
And instead of just like two men clash swords, the camera like moves like 7 times. They've done like 9 like sword swings. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's like I'm watching like a movie. Like, what is going on here? You're just an anime game. Chill out. But yeah, it's just a really like neat anime RPG. The combat system is basically just your standard turn based.
Yeah, I've got some on the screen now, and it's kind of just like turn based.
It's got a little bit of nuance to it, where there's like 3 rings, and if you stagger an enemy and then hit them, you can move on to an inner ring. And basically that just means that your turn will come around faster because you've got less. You're to travel less.
Yeah, you're on the inside track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
But it can happen to you as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. And the story's all a bit like, are your allies actually your allies and stuff like that? Standard insert plot here. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. When you're describing anime RPGs, right? How do you try and sell them? Because I don't know how to do it.
I think like if you like these kind of games, you're in, right? It's like you say, like you either like these games or you don't. I feel like it reminds me of in a weird way. It looks kind of like Dragon Questy, but without the art style and stuff.
Yeah, because another thing that I really like in this game is when you level up, everyone gets your +1 health and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you also get points to spend in those stats. So you can be like, well, this guy that guy in the screen is like a big 2-hander. You could just decide to make that guy a mage if you really wanted to.
Oh, I like that.
You have that ability.
Just like changing classes and anyone can be anything.
Yeah. Well, you have to spend the points when they level up, so you have to like commit to it.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just swap, but you can just decide. I've decided this guy's going to be a mage. I don't care. He's not a big 2-hander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I kind of like that. Like, it's inefficient. Like, normally you can kind of tell what a character is built for based off of their starting.
I've got to say,
that does
kind
abilities.
of. I do kind of get annoyed with that a little bit, I guess, when I play these sorts of games where it's like anyone can be anything, but if you don't make the 8-foot tall behemoth dude anything other than warrior, then you're not min-maxing.
Yeah.
And
So
I kind of
obviously-
that annoys me a little bit because I'm kind of like, don't, because I'm gonna like it's this type of game, right? I'm gonna try and make the best team I can.
Look, some of us just can't help but min-max.
Yes,
Right. It's just how we are.
Yeah, and there's lots of games that do that. I think.
Yeah.
Where, anyone can be anything. They've all got outfits to be anything, but like, oh, they should probably be this if you want to actually like have a decent time.
We were talking about Fire Emblem last week, and I had that in the last Fire Emblem in Three Houses, where it was one of the characters, and I was like, look, you keep telling me I can do whatever I want, in training these kids however I want. So I was like, I'm gonna take this healer, I'm gonna make him the most badass sword wielder in all of the game, and it was like. It let me do it, but like every step of the way, it was like, "You sure? I'd really rather be a healer." And I'm like, "No."
I think I remember Bravely Default 2 did that, where it starts them as their most obvious class, right? It's like this person's the healer, and it's like at the perfect time you unlock like a different type of healer like class that they can be. And it's like you can make them fucking samurai. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And it's just like you do it and they do like 2 damage. It's like, okay. Back to healer.
Actually, and there was one thing that Sam mentioned earlier about like how do you sell these games is you put the most edgy male character on the box art and the female with the biggest boobs on the box art. I feel like that's how you sell.
Yeah. Normally I'd be like, Steve, come on now. Like, but I actually think he's right. I think you appeal to certain like tropes and stuff usually with like especially anime JRPGs.
Yeah,
it's like here's the deep story, and then the gameplay starts, and like here's the.
I mean, I meant more like how do I, sell this game? Because like there are people which have gone, oh, it's a JRPG. I don't care.
Okay, I'll Instead of you like having to sell it, I'm going to ask you questions based on what I look for in these games. So how, just on a scale of like 1 to 10, how is the story? Is the story good?
I mean the overall story is good.
Yeah.
The little like interactions which actually fill up most of the game are like, they're probably like a 6 out of 10. Like it's pushing a 7 out of 10. Like they're not unbearable. I don't hate it, but I'm not sat here going, man, this is some of the best storytelling I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Because something like this really reminds me of that weird sort of middle PS3 and Xbox 360 era, where there was some like really odd, just random JRPGs just coming out, and it's like I can't remember all the names of them. But like
Lost Odyssey, remember Lost Odyssey?
Blue Dragon,
Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey. There's like 50 Tales of games that I missed.
Yeah,
and they all just sort of blend together as. If you like anime JRPGs, they're maybe like an 8 out of 10. If you don't, they're like 6 or 7 out of 10. People know if they're buying this already.
What do you, if you're trying to sell a JRPG, do you just sort of say it's like Final Fantasy, which one, and then you just say but, and then it's not a sort of.
It's like I said, it looks like for some reason it just reminds me of Dragon Quest, like the way it was like kind of running around an open-ish map. Like, is it big zones or is it open world?
It's like big zones.
Yeah, so
it's not open world.
So like. Again, kind of like Dragon Quest. I think you even said the combat isn't overly, complicated. Kind of like Dragon Quest. What you gonna say?
Do you feel like because Final Fantasy has gone away from classic turn-based? Do you feel like you're like missing that? Is that why you're going after these smaller games?
Oh no, that's really sad.
I love turn-based RPGs, man.
Yeah.
It's like when they released World of Final Fantasy, and I was just like, "Give me more."
It's weird because they are properly on the way out now, aren't they? Turn-based JRPGs.
I completely understand why. It's because they're not. It's not appealing, right? It's very slow.
They're not exciting to the average consumer.
No.
And when Final Fantasy has to sell 20 million
copies
copies on day one.
Well, you say that, but Pokemon is more popular than ever.
That's different.
Is that too different?
That's too different. Yeah.
They are slowly even getting more actiony in the Pokemon section.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like, with Arceus, and the newest one has your little like run around mode where you can just throw a Pokemon out and it goes and fights stuff on its own, so that you don't have to battle all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
I suppose.
It is obviously still turn-based, but it feels like everyone's gone just a little bit slow and not for me. And I think our generation is probably the generation that still might get something out of turn-based games. But even then, I think our generation is kind of done with it.
I don't think Dragon Quest 12 will be a traditional turn-based JRPG.
Best fucking be.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll be the biggest mix-up the series have had so far, because if everyone else is doing it, I don't see why. If Dragon Quest wants to be this big market leader JRPG, it has to get in line with the rest, right?
To me, though, every other big JRPG has started to go the more actiony route, and that could be their niche, is that they stick to the JRPG routes, the traditional way.
But that's the key word, niche. They don't want to be niche. They want to be mass market, right?
Dragon Quest is not niche.
And it's Dragon Quest kind of like sells itself as niche, despite it selling millions and millions of copies.
It's like Persona was niche, and now it is not.
Yeah. Persona is your traditional turn-based, but I would argue that Persona's got a lot more going on than just you attack, I attack, take it in turns. There's more thought into it.
Yeah, I feel like, because I was thinking, like, I guess it's just there's not much there to do with a turn-based RPG. But then I remembered, like Persona 5 is technically a turn-based RPG, but it does so many like
absolutely
clever things that you're like, oh no, this is like it's great. I want more of this.
When I say that like Dragon Quest 12 will be a big departure, I don't mean it's going to be like Final Fantasy 16 Devil May Cry shit. I think like it's just going to have it's going to have a bit more going on than just I cast, whatever. I can't remember what the moves are. Whack.
Raga.
I cast death, and then you defend, and then which is kind of like what Dragon Quest still is as of right now. But we'll just, we'll wait and see. So, but yeah, what do you think, Sam? Any last words on this before we? 46.49. That's expensive game.
I've got to say though, that's just standard pricing for video games.
I suppose. I kind of like. Yeah, I don't know why that caught me off guard, but it did.
Like again, when you look at like this is made by a company that's been doing this kind of thing for 20+ years. Like we may not know them.
Yeah, good old Aqua Plus.
Yeah, this is apparently a well-known and respected company in this genre.
Yeah.
Also, JRPGs for some reason have had carte blanche to just charge whatever they want forever, right? I remember back on my Vita, I would go to the store and they'd be like, oh, new day, new dawn, new day, and the dump truck of random just JRPGs has been dumped into the store, and they all cost 60 quid, and it's like, who is supporting all these random £60 JRPGs on Vita of all things?
I've got to say really quick before we move on, because this just made me giggle. So on Steam, you got the developer button, Aqua Plus. I opened it in a new tab, thinking it would show me their page and all their stuff, and it didn't. It defaulted to a zoomed-in version of the front page of Steam, and it just defaulted to FIFA 23. And I was like, what the fuck? They made FIFA? I've never heard these guys made FIFA. So talented. That's cool. We'll go along then. Sad news this week. Steve, for I think what's this, like the 11th week in a row now, Steve hasn't played anything this week. So. No, it's fine. Steve, you haven't got much you haven't played anything this week, have you?
No, I have not. Unfortunately, but February is quite stacked, so I am quite looking forward to. I can quickly go over the big games that are coming out this month if we.
Oh, we'll do it at the end.
Okay,
wrap it in with weekly stuff.
Yeah, because there's not much out this week, so it's next week where we're going to get the big stuff.
Yeah, I had a few weeks where I was just in maintenance mode playing.
Did World of Warcraft for like a month.
Oh yeah. All right, and what you been playing, Will?
This week I have played. Well, like this week and a half, I played Hitman, and I played the new mode that they put out called Freelancer. So Hitman 3 is now all of Hitman wrapped into one, and they've renamed it World of Assassination. And so now, if you go to Steam, you should only be able to buy this. Hitman 3 is dead.
So I looked this up. So because I'm on the page right now for Steam for Hitman 3, and there is a page for World of Assassination, but there's nothing on it. It's just a bundle purchase of everything Hitman. Which...
I think, I don't know. I don't think this crossover has been as clean as maybe I thought it was going to be. As they were hoping it. Because I had people come in and say, while I was streaming this, and people were saying, some people were like, "Oh, I can't find this game," and I'm like, "Well, it's I'd be like, it's Hitman World of Assassination." They're like, "That doesn't exist." I'm like, "Okay, it's Hitman 3," and they're like, "That doesn't exist," but now I can find World. So it was like. But like,
But looking at this right now, like on the page right here, this is the page for Hitman World of Assassination. As of right now, I guess because it's new or whatever, it's 45% off. It's £32.17. That's simple enough, right? And then you scroll down, and it's items included in this package, Hitman 3, and a whole bunch of DLC, which are NA, not available. So it's a bit like, it's a bit weirdly done.
Yeah, that's. I guess, and it's funny because like they did this to sort all this, to sort it all out. So you just buy one Hitman, you get everything. You don't need to worry about it. But it's
I have no doubt they'll fix it or make it cleaner. Over time.
It's funny. They changed it over while I was streaming. So I was streaming Hitman 3. They said I had to stream it under, and then midway through the stream, that category on Twitch just ceased to exist. So then it switched over to World of Assassination.
Stream deleted.
So just for that OI, that really helped with people discovering me on streaming a game that didn't
should we do it like now? There's like 20,000 people watching Hitman 3 currently on Twitch. Fuck it, pull the plug. They'll figure it out.
We got to do it at some point, right?
Peak time, midday is good time to do it.
But anyway, so now you just buy one Hitman 3. Well, you buy this Hitman package and you get everything. So it's a pretty good deal. But they've also added this freelancer mode, which is kind of like a pseudo roguelike way to play Hitman. So the setup is, and it's a really the story justification is kind of weird for this, because it's like you're not hunting international criminals anymore. You're just sort of killing people who are kind of a bit shit in some cases.
This is a bad man. Go kill him, Agent 47.
It basically is. Like even in the intro cutscene, it's like it shows this maid just dusting, and they're like, "She's a money launderer." And it's like, okay, I guess. So what it is you are going in and you're eliminating these like they're called like cells. They're like terrorist cells, and what they are like a bunch of like mini bosses, like chiefs, like lackeys, and then you kill the head guy, and you do that 4 times in a row in increasing number and difficulty, and that's like a run. And at the start of every run, you have all your gear, and if you take anything in and fail, you lose. It's like there's a bunch of fail states. Like sometimes you'll lose everything you had on you. Sometimes if you fail a whole run, you'll lose a bit more. And there's this new currency called Mercers.
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah, one more time.
Mercers. Mercers, but we just Mercer. And sometimes you lose a bunch of that, and all of the targets are like random NPCs in the world. And it's kind of like a little while back. Well, Hitman's always had this like custom community where you can record your own hits, hitmens, and then you can upload it and say, hey, do this better, kill, and it'll be like, kill this guy with a fire extinguisher, right?
Rate my hitmans.
rate my Hitman, and then and then everyone else can have a go and be like, that was a fun Hitman. I'm gonna vote that. And then So it's kind of a bit like that, where instead of these big elaborate set pieces, it's more like it's just a guy wandering around in a crowd, and your objective is just to kill him and get out as as quickly as possible, as good as possible. And so it's kind of cool because once you've played through a main Hitman level, you kind of there's like a couple of stories, right, where you can cause accidents or these big set pieces in a certain way. But once you've done them, it's kind of like just optimizing it, right? Like, oh, can I do this quicker? Can I find a creative way to cause this chain reaction to get this guy killed or whatever? And it's always the same like boss named character. And what that means is they build these huge levels, but all of the action tends to focus on these individuals that you're hunting. And it ends up with lots of the level being like unused. And what this does is like sometimes there'll just be an NPC that you have to kill, and he's like in a completely out of the way little area, and you're like, I never really went here in the campaign.
How the hell am I going to do this here in this random corridor?
Exactly. And sometimes it'll be like he's just wandering around in a market, and like there's people fucking everywhere. Like, how do I do this? And it's it's kind of what I've always wanted out of a Hitman, which is just to use these big spaces more and leave it up to you to be creative in how you hit men. Yeah.
Well, they're clearly confident in it. If this is the kind of branding going forward, like they've removed Hitman 3 and completely changed the name and gone like, here you go, new Hitman.
Yeah.
So
I
think it's a fucking brilliant idea. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's quite. It is early. There's a lot of the way they differentiate the hits are like you just have to kill the guy, but every mission has like a theme. Every cartel has like a theme. So if you have like the eco-terrorist or something, and like all of the objectives are like eco-themed. So it's like, oh, kill this guy by drowning or electrocution.
Kill him with a flower.
This guy gets hit him with the flower. Yeah, poison this guy sort of thing. And it feels like some of those are either way too finicky or they're way too broad, and to the point where because it's not required, you're just kind of like, oh, fucking sod it. Like sometimes it'll be like, oh, electrocute this guy, and it's like I'm in the middle of like a Marrakesh market where there's not water for miles around. How the fuck?
Get the batteries out. Start throwing double A's at him.
I'm just gonna run up and like defib him or something. And you just kind of end up going like, oh, sod it. You shoot him in the head and then leg it for the exit, and that always feels kind of bad. I also think it's insanely punishing for the kind of game that it is, especially because
it's already hard, right? Hitman's already like quite tricky.
Yeah, kind of. Well, what I think you don't realize is in Hitman you always have silenced pistol, and most of the time you're taking a lockpick. And in this, you start with neither of those, and you suddenly realize how fucking hard the game is when you can't, like, if a guard spots you, you can't just quick shoot him in the head and be like, oh, deal with the consequences. It's like, no, you see a guy spots you, he opens fire on you, and now it's like everyone in the fucking level is coming after you, and you can't save and reload. You get one go at this. If you die, it's like back to the start, And it can sometimes feel like the game sets you up to fail. Like, I think you said it when we were talking about this mode a couple weeks ago, and you were like, I just want to, it's fun to think about a game where it just drops you in a room with a guy and says, all right, kill him. There's guards everywhere, whatever you do. But it literally does that sometimes. And if you just sort of happen to not load in, you have like an equip load almost in your hideout, and it'll be like, do you want to take, the pistol, the silent shotgun? But that's more slots, so you can't take as many tools and consumables and things. And it's like, so sometimes I would load into a level with just this like one, handgun or something and a crowbar or something, and like I got one the other day that was like, we're spawning you in this like armed compound. You've got you're in a 2x2 room, and the second you step out, there's like 4 guards just patrolling around you. And I was like, what am I supposed to do here?
Good luck, motherfucker.
Yeah, and that was like on mission 5 or something. So I'd been doing this for hours at that point, and it was like, yeah, no, fuck you, back to the start.
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh, Okay. Thanks, game. That's pretty cool.
But that kind of sounds like a lot of experiences I've had in other roguelikes sometimes, where if it has like a checkpoint system, after a checkpoint, the next fight, I'm like, oh, this is a lot harder. I think I'm just dead.
That's true, but I feel like good roguelikes kill you, but they're like fair about it, right? And this feels, and it's not just sometimes it will set you up to fail. It's that sometimes a bug or something will happen, and that will just. I think it happened while I was showing it off. I went to fist fight a guy, and the thing with fist fighting is it's like loud, and you have to make sure you knock them out. So you get them on the ground, and then you guy has a quick he punches them in the back of the head, make sure they're down, sort of thing. And when I went to fist fight this guy, his ragdoll freaked out, and he just spasmed across this unpassable gap for me, and then stood back up and machine gunned me down. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's like a moment where if I was playing regular Hitman, I would just save and reload. Like I try not to do that, when I'm just playing. But if I'm like, okay, that shouldn't have happened. We'll just.
This sounds like a skill issue. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is just a skill issue.
Some guy T-posing and vibrating across a chasm and then machine gunning you from out of reach.
Yeah. I really should have accounted for that. Yeah. I think it's a super cool mode.
Yeah, I love the idea of just Agent 47 is a bit strapped for cash, so he's just taking on random nobody missions. He wants another holiday this year.
Syndicate members. You are after
that's it, syndicates.
No, I like this. I like my headcanon more. he wants another holiday to Spain this year, so he's doing a few side jobs.
That is what it feels like because it's randomly generated. You could get anyone in the level. So I've seen videos of people, they spawn in, and this specific one is he steps off a boat onto this pier, and his target is a guy just fishing, and he stood right next to him at the spawn. So he just kicks him in the river and then cuts off back to the boat, and it's mission over in about 10 seconds. And it's was that guy a terrorist, or was he just
You've just removed $10 billion worth of drugs from city streets. Good job, Agent 47. That random fisherman.
Random fisherman was actually a complete warlord psychopath. Gun runner. Yeah.
I've had some where it feels like the levels just aren't prepped for what it gives you as well, though.
Yeah.
I had make target slip an accidental kill.
Yeah.
And
banana peel or what?
Give me anything. Yeah, no, I was looking for banana peels.
Yeah, that does work.
I needed water. There was no water for 10 miles, no sinks or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does one make someone slip and an accidental kill? It's you don't have a screwdriver.
Yeah.
So you can't do anything.
What's that Bear Grylls meme of improvise, adapt, overcome?
Yeah. And it does. It really. It's funny because I would really recommend this mode. I mean, I'd recommend Hitman just out of hand. I think that franchise is fantastic. But it's tough to recommend this mode straight up because I think more than the main game, it so rewards you for just map knowledge because you'll spawn it because it's spawning you in random places every time. To sort of mix it up a bit. But if you know the level, you can kind of be like, oh, okay, he's over there. So I know I can get the screwdriver from over here, which can let me do this sabotage, or I know this guy's got a shotgun stashed in his backpack somewhere or something, And I would say definitely try this if you're interested, but just play the main game first.
Well, that's the thing about it, right?
Is
if you buy Hitman World of Assassination, I think it has Hitman 1, 2, and 3 in that purchase now. It's just
that's the whole point. Is there's no Hitman 1, 2, or 3 anymore. It's all just this one game.
Yeah, if anyone's listening, this does sound maybe too intimidating. You can still buy it and still have an amazing time playing. Yeah, just probably 50 hours worth of base game. Hitman 1, 2, and 3.
I went down a rabbit hole of watching speed runs of Hitman. You can finish all of Hitman in about 15 minutes total. If you do it, it's all just walk in, cause these crazy Rube Goldberg-esque things to fall, and then just walk back out the door. And it's that's
Here's all the things you have to actually do, but you can just walk in the room, look at the guards, and go, look over there, and then shoot the guy when they're not looking, and then just leave.
Yeah.
All right, I'll move it along then. Did you have Anything else you've played this week that you want to touch quickly? I've got a whole bunch of time before my turn. Don't eat into my time. But
well, it depends. We can get into this more later because I haven't finished it yet. But I have played Hi-Fi Rush.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
You also played some Hi-Fi Rush?
I was going to say I haven't played it yet, but I fully intend to get into it. So if you wanted to do a deeper dive, maybe next week, we can both go in next week.
Yeah, for sure, we can save it. That'll give me a chance to finish it.
Because
I really like it so far. I'll say that. I think it's actually really, really good. So
yeah, this ties into a new story that we'll do later about like the whole Xbox showcase. But like, what the fuck? This game's just come out of nowhere, and it's incredible looking and apparently amazing to play. And it's just like
early Game of the Year contender, and it's only January. It just came out of nowhere.
Absolutely insane. Also on Game Pass, which if you're into that sort of thing, it's just like, here it is. By the way, just download and go.
Yeah. Don't be intimidated by it being like a rhythm game. It's really it gives you so many like it lends you so many hands. I think it is so many handicaps if you're rhythmically challenged like I am.
I think Metal Hellsinger was somewhat similar, where I think a lot of people were put off by the fact it's like, it's a shooter game, but it's rhythm. I can't do rhythm. It's like, well, there are easier modes if you just want to like get in and just play it like Doom. So we'll do a deeper dive next week then. What I do want to say though, before we just go on, is this game is just gorgeous though. It's
really good looking. Yeah,
I think it's just amazing. It's so colourful, which I absolutely love.
It looks like is it cell shaded? What's the art style called?
Yeah, cell shaded.
It's cell shaded, but it's also it's like saturation to the max. Every colour is
I was gonna
saturated.
Sometimes cell shaded it can look like it's been a bit overdone, but this game just looks they've done it right.
Yeah,
I was making little notes because I really didn't want to. When I was talking about this on the podcast, I was like, I really don't want to mess this up because I think this game is fantastic and I don't want to mess up like selling it. So I was making loads of little notes and I kept writing like, I would be like, it's kind of like DMC mixed with, and then I would write like Borderlands, and I was like, no, that doesn't quite work. It's like Spider-Verse, and it's like, yeah, kind of. And a bunch of others that I've now forgotten, but I've written down somewhere. But we can say this.
We're going to deeper next. Okay, I'll go into what I've been playing this week then. So this week, I have been playing a shitload of Dead Space Remake.
Yes.
So let me just get this all set up.
How is it? How is your mum horrified?
She can't believe it. Yeah. Was it Dead Space 1 where they had the like grannies and mums where they were like, this is horrible.
Dead Space 2. That was a promotion.
Was stupid. Yeah. This game is just to start off. This game is incredible, and I need to put out there early on before I say anything is I can't 100% remember Dead Space 1. So a lot of stuff I'm like, I'm not sure if this is new or not.
I was going to ask if they changed a bunch.
There are definitely certain bits that are brand new. So for starters, Isaac Clarke talks, which he's helmet on silent protagonist in the original. But this one he's completely vocal. The helmet comes off in certain scenes. He's a handsome looking dude. And it's not odd in like any way. It feels almost like completely natural, even though it's all new stuff. And that's what I mean where I say like I can't really remember how it was, because they're having cutscenes and covering bits that I remember in the original game, but I know he didn't talk. So I'm like, what happened here before? So like
throws everything out.
It really does. Yeah, I'm like, this is really weird. But yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, Dead Space, the original, came out, I think it was late 2000s, I think. Xbox 360 and PS3, and it was amazing at the time, and it's still really good today. I think if you went back and played it, it would still be fine. But it's a third-person horror game taking place on basically a derelict spaceship, and it's all gone dark, and you get sent there to find out what's going on with, I think, 3 other people. And you have to work, and you get attacked by aliens and stuff like that, and you have to work out sort of what's going on. But ultimately, it's a third-person shooter, and the big thing about it is the actual combat itself is based around limb dismemberment, which sounds weird, but like the main antagonists, the necromorphs, they have big spiky arms and big long gangly legs and tiny heads, almost to be like shoot over here, don't go for headshots. And yeah, you have to shoot off their arms and legs, and then they start crawling and stuff like that. And that's how that's how you deal with them. That's how you dispatch them. But the game just feels amazing to play, especially after it's hard not to make the Callisto comparisons, right? It's considering Callisto.
I was going to say they made them themselves. That was kind of the point. Yeah,
it's like I didn't want to come in here and be like, oh yeah, it's really good. Fucking Callisto, shit. This game's amazing. But it's like after literally coming off of Callisto, like 2 weeks ago, and now playing this, it's just like Isaac Clarke is comparatively like as a third-person controller. Like he runs around, he's snappy.
Yeah.
It's really satisfying to punch, stomp, shoot. Everything just feels really good. And in hindsight, like thinking back to Callisto was so heavy and it was so slow, and it was just this just feels great to run around. But yeah, so as I said, it's a horror game, so it's unbelievably atmospheric. It's a lot of it is just in darkness with sort of like spotlights everywhere to like highlight areas and shine off of your armor and bits like that. But the game is very, very scary, and that's another thing I think. Again, comparing to Callisto, is I don't really feel like Callisto was that scary. I don't know. It's really weird because Callisto was gory and it's kind of gross, and there's lots of like gross bits. I don't remember ever really being like scared or tense in Callisto. Where this game is, it's not. It depends on how scared you are of horror stuff, right? Because I don't get massively scared, but it is very tense as you're going around the Ishimura and exploring. And it's not always just because like, oh, darkness, jump scare, but like the music, the lighting, the atmosphere, the way they use like volumetric fog and stuff like that. It's very tense, and I think a lot of it is the pacing as well. The pacing is really good. Which again, I don't think it's the remake specifically. I think they nailed all this back in when the original came out.
Well, I think that's we were making fun of it when Callisto came out, but it's like Callisto was like jump scare, jump scare, jump scare.
Yes.
And they lose all meaning after like an hour of being jump scared every 10 seconds or whatever. And it's like I remember Dead Space really knew how to like hold the jump scare until you're like, okay, it's coming. I know it's coming, and then it doesn't, and then that just makes you even more tense. Yeah.
There's so many parts like that specifically where it's just like I'm expecting a jump scare, and then nothing happens, and then I'm like, oh, okay, they'll get me next time, and then the next time when I expect it, it still doesn't happen, or something like that. And then there'll be other bits where one bit that got me literally today when I was playing is I'm just over halfway through. You go to the ship's like, I'm gonna call it, I can't remember what it's called, like, the organic life part of all these horror games where there's like trees and bushes and stuff.
What are they called? Like
agricultural
farms or something.
And there's a bit where you go in a room and there's a whole bunch of plants and stuff behind glass, and it's like, okay, they're growing whatever down here. And then right behind you, as you go into a certain bit, a noise is played that is like, it's like 80% of a monster noise. It's not quite a monster noise, but you're like, there's a thing fucking falling right behind me right now. So you 180, you go look at, and it's just sprinklers coming on in this glass container.
Yes, I think that specifically was in the original.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that got me. Like, there's no monster here. There's no nothing. It's just sprinklers coming on, and it fucked me up. And the funny thing about that is, as soon as that happens, you walk towards specifically the like sprinkler system that goes off, and there's a item on the floor that's worth quite a lot of money to sell. Almost as if like, we know this got you. Here, have an item to sell because we feel bad for like scaring you. But yeah, I mean, I think if you like horror in any way and you haven't played this, this is such a fantastic remake. It's so nice just to play something that's just, it's new, but it's also nostalgic, and it's also it's just amazing. It's brilliant in every way. I'm playing on PS5. I'm taking screenshots like every 2 seconds as I play because it just looks so good. They do the like in Metroid Dread when you go down elevators and like the light comes through windows on Samus.
And it's just like passing you in like beam in like blinds. Yeah,
they do that in this, but it's all like real time, like lighting and stuff, and all the ray tracing, and it's just like, it's so gorgeous, man. It's so good.
I'm so glad this seems to be like catching on. Like I've seen so much talk about how great this remake is, and I'm like, yes, okay, now let's make 2. Let's remake 2. We can forget about 3, I guess. This it's got some good stuff, but
I don't even know if we remake 2.
It's a sequel.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think 2 is a perfect like hand in hand with 1.
I think
because what 2 is, I like 2 better than 1 just because 2 is really clever in that it's like, okay, you know the scares now. So 2 is more about like it's like an action game versus survival horror. It's still got all the same like bits, but it's like, okay, we'll get to the game now.
A very popular comparison is like Alien and Aliens. How the second
I've heard
movie
that a lot.
was. The second movie's very actiony because it's like, okay, you know what the alien is, you know what it can do.
Yeah,
like here's 10 of them.
But and it's like when you go and play like a Resident Evil game now, and it's still doing the like, what was that like phase of the game where it's like stuff rattling around. It's like, come on, I know it's zombies. Stop it.
Yeah,
I've not gonna get me again.
I've got to say that what I appreciate about this that I didn't remember at all, but again, coming off of Callisto, when you play Callisto, for context, it's got a really slow open, and I think for like maybe like an hour, you only have a melee weapon and a pistol. Yeah, and all you fight are just like zombies in Callisto for like the first hour and a bit. And playing Dead Space, you're on your ship, arriving at the Ishimura. You're on the Ishimura within about 2 minutes, and you see a necromorph in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Specifically, it's that like security checkpoint bit, and then you have to do that chase scene, right?
Yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, like I forgot how this game just like gets going. It's just like you're on the
doesn't fuck around.
No, you're on the Ishimura for 2 minutes. They're like, everything's quiet. That's weird. Shit goes fucking bad. You get chased by necromorphs. You go down an elevator. Again, you're like 4 minutes in at this point, and it goes, big blood on the wall, cut off their limbs. Here's your cool pistol that you're going to use for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, I forgot how like snappy this game is. You're just there. You're just going for it. And I really like that. Again, because Callisto was just so slow. And then Callisto as well, I think had like 5 or 6 weapons. But they were all like pistol, shotgun, machine gun.
Yeah.
Which was kind of boring. Whereas I'm just over the midpoint of this, and I've just gotten the last weapon. Because you like upgrade them and they change and stuff. And there are 8 weapons, and they're so fucking cool. They're all different. They're all engineering weapons, which is the cool thing.
Yeah,
because they're not made to be weapons. But you have, I think the only one you have that is a quote unquote weapon is the machine gun.
Is it Dead Space 1 or 2 where the alt fire for the machine gun is he puts it on the floor and then it shoots around you in like a 360?
That's the second one, I think.
Is that the second one? Because I remember that. That was the only one where it was like everything's a tool, and you're like, damn, these are so effective. Except it gives you the assault rifle almost like you don't use this. Like this isn't that good.
So again, with Callisto being quite boring weapons, Dead Space in particular is like, here's your pistol, which you can turn sideways or horizontal. That's all really quite cool. But it's like, okay, it's a pistol. Next one's a machine gun. But okay, that's fine, something a bit faster. Then it goes, okay, here's the weapon, the mining weapon that shoots out razor blades and hovers them in front of you. And it's like, here's your 4th weapon, it's a flamethrower. And it's just like, oh, these are fucking cool. These are cool ass weapons. Yeah, I'm loving this game. Absolutely loving it. It's not going to be like my game of the year or anything like that, but it's a strong contender for like one of the best games I've played in a while, I think. And I do really hope this kickstarts the whole franchise again.
Well, do you think it might win like remake of the year, or is there anything else that you're like excited for?
Well, I think at the very least, like I said, my main hope that I'm coming away with is just I hope it reboots Dead Space and shows that there is interest in this franchise still. The reason I was saying I don't want a remake of 2 and 3, I would prefer something like, okay, Dead Space 1 remake sold really well and reviewed really well. It's obviously popular. Here's remasters of 2 and 3 to tie you over whilst we make some sort of Dead Space 4.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, like seeing this tech and being reminded of how much fun this was, my brain now is like, yeah, this is cool. Now do it again. Like, give me this, but like new now. I'm ready for something like brand new.
Do you think you'll go on to play 2 and maybe 3 after this? Because they're still perfectly playable.
I might do. I remember 2 being very fun. I never finished 3, oddly enough.
No, I never finished 3. I've heard it goes to some very wacky places by the end of 3.
Yeah,
I'm always tempted to go back and check it out.
Here it gets a bit weird at the end. And it's like I think you have to play that game co-op if you want to get the best experience, because there's a bunch of stuff that's unique to co-op. Kind of weird, Dead Space 3.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's like I always get memories of when it was you and me, Will, and we played Gears of War 3 with Erin, because it was 3-player. And she was getting all the unique cutscenes because she was like protagonist woman. I can't remember her name. Yeah, and we were both like, "What's going on? What's going on? Tell us what's happening. What's going on?" Because we were like grunts or something.
Yeah. It was like me and you who were like into, I guess, well, not into Gears of War massively, but just like, we just wanted to try it. And then Erin was, I basically dragged Erin.
Yeah, fine, I'll play.
Yeah, she was like, fine, I'll play. And she got all the fun bits to do. We didn't get any of them.
We were just like,
one of us had to be that fucking robot that didn't do anything.
I think you and me were like taking cover or something behind some brick wall, and Erin was mind controlling locusts or something. We were like, what the fuck? But yeah, nothing else to say on Dead Space really that's not, repeating myself. Fantastic game. You should definitely play it. It's amazing.
It's always nice to see when people get like a remake or remaster done right.
It's tricky because Dead Space is such a good game anyway. And we're getting to the point now where we're remastering games where gaming had already kind of figured things out, if that makes sense. We're not like remaking PS1 and PS2 games all the time, where everything's a bit shit because we're struggling to move a character around a 3D space.
We haven't figured out twin stick yet.
Exactly.
So we don't. Yeah.
That's where I'm like, there'll be a really cool cutscene in Dead Space Remake, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really cool. This has to be new. But I'm like, they had cutscenes back when this game came out. Like it wasn't a new thing. do you get what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's just like,
yeah,
and that puts forward the argument of doesn't need a remake in the first place. But I guess if it puts it back in the brain space of everybody, then it's more than worth it. But yes, something like Final Fantasy VII getting a remake, it's like all brand new stuff. This is just like it's the same area, but it looks a shitload nicer and controls a bit better, I guess.
Yeah.
But even that's not like a downside. In any way,
I do think it's funny. You going like, oh no, games have already been solved. Does this even need a remake? It's changed your tune from Last of Us since last year, I guess.
Okay. So what specifically about? No, you fucking bring this up. Let's go. I'm tilted now. I think Last of Us remake, I would have argued, where I'm not 100% sure it was needed, but I think like this game, when you put it side by side with the original doesn't look as good as you remember. I saw
true.
But yeah, anyway, we'll move on from this. Because nothing else to say. I'm going to finish this, I think, the next 2 or 3 days, and then move on to Hi-Fi Rush, because there's just no downtime right now. So much stuff to play. I've officially let my RuneScape sub run out. That's how desperate it is.
Oh my
serious, blimey, yeah.
It's all coming to a head, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll get into some news then. Or did you say you had something you wanted to do?
Yes, I thought as we've moved and it's a brand new year, I have a brand new game show for you both. I didn't come up with a title for this.
Wait, who you missing out?
All of you.
All 2 of you.
Anyway, I didn't come up with a name for this because I forgot about it until about an hour ago. But this is called Bad Reviews.
Okay.
I went on Metacritic and I looked at some of the worst reviews for some games that all of these we talked about last year. Yeah, thank you. If we could get some music over this, do the edit later. Yeah. So these are all 0 or I think it was less than 3 out of 10s on Metacritic.
Oh damn!
For games we talked about last year. They were quite big games, so I didn't pick anything too niche. But I'm going to read them, and then I want you guys to try and guess what game the review is talking about. Okay.
So just to clarify, are these like, almost like outlier reviews? Because they're so bad, or some of these games genuinely awful that you're talking about.
No. These are all games we talked about. So this is like,
we've got to think what games have we talked about to get these kind of reviews.
Okay.
Oh god, a whole year of games.
Yeah, I did try to keep it to some of the bigger games we talked about last year. Stuff you'll probably be able to figure out, but
we'll see.
The answers here, so we'll see. So here's a kind of gimme to get you in the mood. This is review number 1. I don't know why people like this game. It's a basic cat game for me. The stuff in the game is casual.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's straight, yeah. That was 2 out of 10 for that one.
The correct score.
It ended. The stuff in the game is casual. Don't like it. Full stop.
Dogs are better.
Dog person. Okay, review 2. The Sad Dad Simulator returned for a one more boring journey. Now less violent, more friendly with enemies than ever.
God of War Ragnarok?
Yes, Steve. Yeah.
Really?
God of War Ragnarok. The Sad Dad Simulator. That was a 3 at least. So
also correct score.
Yeah. So far, I don't think I've said anything too controversial, to be honest.
What no one realizes is that I wrote all these reviews.
Okay, review number 3. People who give more than 6 don't know a sheep about video games. When Cyberpunk released, everywhere get mad and called it a failure. Game is full of bugs and glitch. Worst game of 2022 because it has empty space, bad design, and FPS drops. How can anyone play this trash?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
Yes, Steve.
I was going to go for that as well.
Steve plays a lot of trash, clearly.
Maybe Steve did write all of these.
I'm bad at these. These are going right over my head. I'm like,
it's the first game show I'm doing really well at.
Cyberpunk came up a lot in these reviews. Everybody was like, "It's just Cyberpunk again."
It's the new bar.
It's really funny. Yeah, it is. It's the new low bar. Yeah. Okay, review number 4. How can 3 ruin what was already a great game? Remove weapons, specials, maps, replaced hosts with hideous-looking characters, change the music with Bollywood crap, and you get this game.
Splatoon 3.
I was never getting that.
What the fuck?
Steve's insanely good at this.
Steve, you're insane. You're craps, man.
Replace music with Bollywood crap seems like, fucking Splatoon, obviously. It's like, I don't remember anything from Splatoon 3 about that. I played that game. I finished Splatoon 3.
I never played. I played the demo.
I didn't even get to the part where he's complaining about connection errors, which was a very common theme in the bad reviews for Splatoon. People did not like that. Anyway. Okay. As review number 5, as in quotes amusing as the dialogue can be at times, the gameplay is annoying, and as a fan of previous games in this series, I can't recommend this to fans of the series. It really does feel like it's mocking anyone who had enjoyed classic games from this series. So if you want no. So if you want a mediocre Souls-like with cringy dialogue, then go for it. Otherwise, it's not worth your time.
Mortal Shell?
No.
Cringy Souls-likes.
What Souls-like?
Yeah,
came out?
Mediocre Souls-like with cringy dialogue.
The anime one?
Oh, anime. You're gonna have to be more specific. No, it's not Code Vein. This was a Josh game. Josh,
don't do me like this. Not only do you not know, you should know.
yeah.
Nothing. Is it like Scorn?
No.
Bayonetta 3?
No. Okay, I'm gonna call it that. Unless you got a good guess, Josh.
No, I really don't.
This was Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy.
Oh my god.
That game's not Souls-like.
That comment was bait.
That was bait. It's like I get mad at like Will is not even his review. It's this idiot 10-year-old.
I didn't write it. Okay, I got a couple more of these.
Okay, I like this.
Next review. The game sucks. Full stop. The trailer.
Elden Ring.
0 out of 10. The trailer makes you think it's an survival horror, but it's actually a boring puzzle game.
Scorn.
That's Scorn. Yeah, that's Scorn. Yeah,
it's Scorn. Hold on. If I knew this, I would play Professor Layton instead.
An actual scary game.
That's a banger of a puzzle game as well.
Okay. This is the last one I pulled for this one, but this was fun. I might do this again. Okay, and I want, if you could, I would like you. This was the most unhinged I found, so if you could let me finish.
I'm gonna start a fire.
Before you jump in. Okay. Game is one of the worst pieces of media ever created, in terms of overhype, at least. If you praise this game as a masterpiece, then I refuse to give you any respect as a gamer. Apparently, it sold like 13 million copies, but it has under 500,000 reviews on Steam, and hardly anyone is playing it. Seems like some rich loser just bought thousands of copies just to promote this trash. Exactly same overhype happened with Cybertrash 2077. Seems like most gamers just go with the flow and never think for themselves. They are like, oh, this one is popular, so I start preaching it as well. Pathetic. I hate you all, literally. You guys are ruining gaming more than anyone has ever ruined gaming. If this wins Game of the Year, it will be most pathetic victory for art ever.
That man.
Elden Ring.
That's Elden Ring.
That was Elden Ring.
That man needs a different hobby.
That guy was.
He was said like, overhype. I knew
overhyped. Yeah. It was that guy wrote like a manifesto.
It was the like 500,000 reviews or something.
This wasn't from Metacritic either. This was scrawled on the wall of someone's bedroom.
It's written on the side of a bathroom wall somewhere in feces.
It's written on a mirror. That's it. Thank you for playing. I think Steve won that. He's bloody good at this.
Thank you.
You're good at that, Steve.
You win. I don't know.
A copy of the worst game of ever, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, yeah. Overhyped garbage.
I always love these little game shows you do. They're always so fun. Thank you for sorting that out. That's really fun.
No worries. I enjoy coming up with them.
All right, should we get into some news? The first news is quite big, a little bit sad, depending on how you feel about this sort of thing. But we've got it here. This is Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony won't be a part of E3 2023.
What are they going to show then?
Not a lot, I imagine. It's like
Jeff Keighley just sort of vamping for hours on stage just for 3 days.
Well, Jeff Keighley probably wants this dead, right? He's got his own stuff that he does instead. I
just presume he has his hands in all of these pies.
Yeah.
Is he the head of
gaming now? Jeff Keighley,
self-elected head of all games,
self-elected king of gaming, with
yeah.
Kojima at his right hand.
I did read a little bit about this though, and I think you can see there's a quote there. It's old Phil Spencer, and he talks about how they're still doing their showcase during E3.
Yes.
And they're working with E3 to make sure it's convenient for to fit in with the other time slots.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think that's how Microsoft has always done it, where they're not technically at E3, but they're basically at E3.
There was definitely a period of time where they were all at E3. But like
for sure.
But like you say, I'm pretty sure one that sort of stands out for me for the longest time was Nintendo, where you had E3 week and stuff, and then it's just like, here's a Nintendo Direct bolted on like a week afterwards.
Yeah. And also, I don't think Sony has been there for several years now.
I think this gives them the freedom to sort of do, what they want in their own time, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't got to, work it all out or whatever. They can just do it when they want and when they're ready. So we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad though. I mean, definitely as a kid, you'd always get excited for E3. It's just like the crazy week of a shitload of stuff coming out. So, what do you guys think?
I think it's everyone wants to like control their own narrative and like have different times that they can like announce things. So part of me is like, maybe it's because they're all trying for like that optimal slot, because they, if E3 is deciding, Microsoft is usually first, and then Sony, and then I assume Nintendo. It's been so long since Nintendo's been at one, but now maybe they can try snipe each other for like the best time slot or whatnot. So it might lend itself to bigger and better reveals, or we'll have to see.
You literally just gotta wait and see,
Yeah, I think my favorite E3 was the one where they announced the consoles, and Xbox One, I think, was announced, and it was like, there's no sharing games or anything. And then in like the next day, Sony was like, oh yeah, this is how you share games, and they just handed a disc over to their friend. Like,
that's sick burn,
It's funny.
It was something like, here's how you share games on a PlayStation or whatever, and it was just them passing a game disc over, and everyone's just like, "Oh my god, sick burn! How will Xbox ever recover?"
So again, like, hopefully there'll be some sort of stuff like that where they're like, I'm assuming they'll decide on their times, based on when they want. So Microsoft might not be first in the week, because usually it's all the time. It's Microsoft is always first.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I just thought this was news. Just like I said, I always liked having just a big, dense brick of a week of like, here's 1,000 games that have all been announced.
It's funny, isn't it? Because like, it makes zero sense for any business that they cram all of these huge announcements into like 3 days, and everybody has to fight for being the biggest news story, the biggest like reveal of the show or whatever. And it makes zero sense for like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo and all these small indie studios to all be just like fighting for airtime. But I'm gonna miss it if it goes. It was so much fun, just all these studios fighting for our attention.
Yeah, this is nothing but good as far as developers and stuff are probably concerned. As opposed to like, here's this week in July where if you don't hit what we need by this week, the whole marketing and everything gets delayed by a year, because if you're not at E3, then what the fuck are you doing?
And also like, take, your game is coming out in September, but if you don't take time out of your development cycle to complete your E3 demo, like it's like, what are you even doing with your life?
We need a vertical slice, we need a trailer, we need articles ready to go, we need, like, back in the day of like, dense E3, you needed demos, you needed playable demos.
Just get up on stage, pretend to play it, don't even plug the controller in, doesn't matter. No one's gonna check.
When I say to you like, fake on stage trailer, like gameplay, what's the first game you think of?
Division.
It's the Division, because my mind goes to I think it's Modern Warfare 2, You know, where they're scaling the ice mountain.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
and then it cuts to black, and it's like for the interest of time. And
yeah.
And it's like, you didn't make this all playable. It's just a guy standing there with a controller. But then, like, 12-year-old me is like, oh my god, this is sick. So yeah, not much else to say about that one, but kind of sad to see, the dense E3 brick go. Next story. We kind of glossed over a little bit of this. I think it was last episode, because this ties into the shitload of layoffs that happened around Microsoft.
Yeah.
So if you bear with me for a second, I'll go through how it all ties in. So Microsoft had tons of layoffs across a whole bunch of different stuff. But one of the biggest places hit was 343 Studios. Who, if you know anything about these games, they make Halo, and they've recently just released Halo Infinite. Go on. Make the joke.
Make is a strong.
Yeah.
Fumble.
They attempt to make Halo. They're now 4 games in? 4, 5, 6, and Infinite. Is that right?
No, 4, 5, Infinite, but the Master Chief Collection as well, which they also bungled.
Yeah. But yeah, hit with massive layoffs. And that was, again, like a couple of weeks ago. And now the newest part of this is due to all, the layoffs and Infinite being a bit shitty. Infinite is being all mixed up and chucked around, and it's all getting weird. Essentially, what's happening is, I don't know if it's ever confirmed, but like, it was called Infinite because it was supposed to be like a kind of platform going forward, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like, this isn't numbered. This is Halo. It's now open world Halo. We're going to do a bunch of cool stuff in it, and we're going to build from this going forward. And then they fucked it up. And now because of that and all these layoffs, a bunch of story DLC that I think was planned is all just like not happening. And the series itself is switching to Unreal Engine 5 with ideas of looking at a new game instead of carrying on with Infinite. Infinite is just being like, fuck this, shelf it, start again.
That's kind of, it's shocking to me. Oh, I guess it's not anymore. I'm so tired. Just shut it down. Just stop it. Like,
yeah,
they clearly don't have the chops to make a good Halo. They've tried 4 times now. Even just copying the Bungie ones didn't work. So
I think at the very least, just don't.
Yeah. Have you could you just not?
Have you considered stop? I think at this point, a lot of the upper management in 343 and stuff has been moved or left or fired. So it'll be interesting to see if now they've had a pretty big shakeup.
Yeah.
If they can, what they can make of it. I do think at the very least that whatever they make next is not going to be for a very long time. If they're changing engine, if they're changing 80% of staff, you're probably not going to see anything for a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's just,
this whole thing just seems like they had too much money and they didn't know what to do with it, and it just seems such an expensive way to just gamble all your money.
It's so unnecessary.
Yeah, so unnecessary. Yeah.
That's the word I use for it. It's the whole thing is just so unnecessary. It's too much money and not knowing kind of what to do with it. I think a lot of time, not wasted isn't the key word, but a lot of time was spent on R&D. I think for Infinite, they were doing a bunch of stuff for ages and trying to work stuff out.
They built their own engine just for Infinite.
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly, because you can, because you have the money.
Yeah, because they were Microsoft and they have the money.
It's like you go to any other AAA studio and it's like, should we make our own engine? It's like, we can, but that's not only is it really expensive, but it's a lot of time. You don't just press the new engine button and you get a new game engine. Like, it's all math, man. It's all fucking triangles. It's complicated. It takes a long time to do these things. And if you have the time and money, which Halo obviously does, then you can attempt it. And it just seems like they just couldn't pull it off, I guess.
It feels like it's like they're obligated to. Halo has been the tentpole Xbox game for forever, or well, up until Reach at least.
Yeah.
And it feels like they were like, well, we have to make more Halos. We're obligated to make more Halos because that's how we make money, sort of thing. And it's like nobody at any point actually had a plan for like what those Halos should be or look like, and they ended up just chasing loads of trends.
Yes.
And just making really expensive copies of like Call of Duty and stuff. And it's just like, just can it. Just wait until you have a really good idea of what you want to do, and then come back.
I think
people will still be here.
You summarized it really well in that it's sitting on such a massive IP, and it's the pressure they feel the need to make this game, as opposed to it doesn't feel like they want to make this game.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we have to make it because it's Halo, and it's worth, it gets less by the year, but it's worth it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
It does make me think, at what point does the market decide, like, Halo, don't care anymore? It's too many shit games.
I think we're seeing it, right? Like Halo 3 there was like a red carpet launch in New York Square, in Times Square, and like Infinite, it's like, I don't know, post on Kotaku. That's about it.
But do people do big red carpet launches anymore?
Not really.
Like really big stuff. Yeah, really big stuff. But it's definitely a lot rarer than it used to be, because like a new game release before all the digital sales would, you had to go to a physical storefront, right? So here's a big midnight launch party of Xbox Connect or some shit. Who knows? Back when what
was it? Battlefield 1 with Zac Efron coming out covered in cocaine and playing a bunch of Battlefield with like Jamie Foxx and stuff.
Is that where they're both standing there? They look absolutely off their face, and
they look so wide.
They don't know where they are, basically. There's what's the one of I think it might also be Battlefield 1 where it's like Snoop Dogg playing, and he's like he's got like a blunt lit up. He's like high. He's he's off his face. And he's like, yeah, we're getting kills out here. And
it shows a secret weapon.
It shows, I got a secret weapon. It shows a scoreboard. He's like 031. Oh, I love it so much.
That was E3, wasn't it? Oh, see, we'll never get that again.
No, yeah, it's gone forever. Snoop Dogg, I ain't going that shit. Not if the big three aren't there. Next.
No new Rabbids game? Count me out.
Yeah. Underperformed, dead serious. Next story, you've got, this was the Xbox Developer Direct.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't watch this, so I'm quite excited to hear about it.
No one kind of did, because I think we looked at watching it, and then we were like, every game here kind of looks like not overly interesting.
Well, I watched it.
You watched? Yeah, you watched. Okay, all right. One person watched it at least.
I was well down for watching it.
I was in the call with Will as we watched it. What happened was I went, isn't that show on?
Yeah, that's true. I did almost forget. Yeah.
Then Forza was on the screen.
So before like we dive into this, I will say I would have watched it live if I knew they were going to fucking shadow drop that new game, Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. That kind of defeats the point, though, doesn't
it? It does defeat the point. If they had said like we've got a cool new announcement, I'd be like, okay, but they just completely shadow dropped. But what they did show is Minecraft Legends, which comes out in April, which is on Game Pass. This, not sure if anyone's watched this trailer. This actually looks kind of cool. It's like a open world, but it's Minecraft, right? You go around, you can control certain mobs, almost in like a sort of group, almost like a weird RTS/Pikmin kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just looks really nice. I think it's nice to see Minecraft at a different perspective, like camera angle.
Yeah.
As opposed to just first person all the time. But yeah, this looks kind of cool. It comes out in April.
Although I will say, with I feel like Minecraft are stretching themselves a bit thin with all these spin-off games.
It's because it's owned by Microsoft,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
cost
$4
I
billion
was
or
gonna
something
say
for
they
this
paid,
IP? Yeah,
I can't remember how much they cost, but it was in the B's. It was billions.
I mean, we had the Minecraft Stories being the QTE story game. Then we had Minecraft Dungeons, which was the Diablo like, and now we've got this Pikmin clone.
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna make next? Minecraft Battle Royale.
Well, it's just keeping Minecraft in the public sphere, right? Keeping it always
Yeah.
at the front.
Yeah.
It hasn't got to maybe sell amazing. It just has to remind you that Minecraft is still around. I was actually talking to a friend the other day about at what point, if ever, do you start talking about and releasing a Minecraft 2? Because that's got to happen at some point, right? Because his reaction was like, "Oh, no, Minecraft is like, it's forever." I was like, "Is it though?"
No, they could definitely do it.
You could do a Minecraft 2 for sure. And
definitely could. Yeah.
And then at that point, when do you start looking at it? Because Minecraft's been out for what, like over 10 years now.
I guess when it stops selling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then they're also doing the updates, which really do bring interest back into Minecraft. Like, I remember when they did the Axolotl update, I just saw so many people streaming it, trying to like farm that rare Axolotl, and so they can get hype announcements and updates for Minecraft.
But I don't think that's a testament to how good the updates are. I think that's a testament to how popular Minecraft is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's still getting their interest, and Minecraft 2 will do well. Especially if they allow it to be as modded as Minecraft 1 is, which they should do. So they're probably saving it for when they really need it.
Yeah. There's a part of me says, like, no way will Minecraft 2 be as moddable as the first game. They want to lock that down and sell. I think, like, there's two versions of Minecraft. There's like a Java version and a like C++ modern version of it. And in the more modern version, a lot of it is more locked down. There's a lot more paid skins, and you have to. Whereas I hope I'm not completely wrong. I could be wrong, so I don't know a lot about it. But I think like the Java version, you could just like open a server. It's just like, here's my server, anyone play.
Yeah.
Whereas the main version of Minecraft pushes like realms, which is like renting a server and you pay money for it and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I mean, if you've got the most popular IP, if you've got the most popular IP in the world, why would you not want to monetize it, right?
Yeah, but then it's you get into that like Bethesda keep trying to monetize mods, right? And I don't know where we're at these days on that, but everybody almost universally hated it every time they even attempted it. So
but I always feel like there could be the biggest history of why you shouldn't do a thing, but if that thing has the smallest chance to make a lot of money, they'll do it anyway. It'll be like, here's why you shouldn't charge people for mods in Minecraft 2. It's like, yeah, okay, but if we do, could make a lot of money.
Yeah, there's like a small percent chance that we will make almost infinite money. So wouldn't you go for that?
Yeah. It's just like you ignoring the 5,000 page spreadsheet of why you shouldn't do this thing because it might make money.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Minecraft Legends comes out on Game Pass. I'll play that. Fuck it, it's Game Pass. Why not? I'll check it out. I'll play anything. I'm easy. Forza Motorsport gets down and dirty in 2023. Racing games. Yay. Yeah.
I love cars.
I fucking love cars. I love cars. Redfall launches in May, and they had a gameplay deep dive of like 10 more minutes of gameplay. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't watch this. Did anyone here seen this?
Yes, I watched it. I'm so cautiously optimistic for this.
It's not Left 4 Dead. It's Far Cry.
It's definitely not Left 4 Dead. Yeah, it did kind of just look like Far Cry, complete with like stealth bits,
towers.
There were towers, yeah. Well, I think that was a main quest, but like, I'm not sure how I feel about this. They've talked a big game about like repeatable activities and like a loot game, which I mean I'm down for a loot game. At least until Diablo comes out, but the art style is just really, really good. Like everything they showed it's sort of like teenagers versus vampires, right? But all of the enemies looked so cool in this game.
Yeah.
But I'm really worried that the shooting just won't be very good because last game was Deathloop and the shooting just did not feel particularly great.
Yeah.
And like even in this, I watched some of the shooting and it's like those enemies don't feel like they're reacting very well to being shot, and the guns don't sound very punchy.
The footage here of like walking around stealthy with a silenced pistol, it kind of in a weird way reminds me of Time Splitters.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
This is a game that is almost like 100% off my radar, and if it does well, I'll check it out. But this could just completely pass me by. I don't know. It's just there's nothing about it, I think, at all that is grabbing me.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that.
Yeah, I'm normally I'm very lenient, right? Like I'll play most things, as long as they're good.
Especially since this is supposed to be your next Left 4 Dead. Like this is supposed to be your version.
Oh yeah, and then they've come out and said it's not Left 4 Dead, and now it's just like, oh okay, well it's like it's more like Far Cry, which I think that article did more damage for me than good. It's just like I got no interest in Far Cry whatsoever.
Yeah, I think after watching what they put out as well after that comment, it's like, no, this still just looks like Left 4 Dead.
But it's not though, right?
I didn't think it looked beyond like it's co-op and sometimes enemies run at you. It didn't look.
Like I said, I've not avoided, but I haven't watched almost any media of this. So as soon as I hear like, oh, by the way, it's not like Left 4 Dead, it's like Far Cry, I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like I can be told that, and I feel like in my brain I can understand what that means. But then again, I'm watching this now, and that looks not Left 4 Dead-y, but it's like 4 people running down a corridor, right?
It looks more like a Borderlands-y kind of Far Cry to me.
I can see that,
yeah. I can also see why people are still saying it kind of looks like Left 4 Dead. But yeah, I don't know. Just everything they keep showing little bits and pieces. Like look, it's like a giant fucking heart in the middle of a cave, and I'm like, I want to see what that's about. That looks cool.
But it's also I don't know if I can not trust these reviews. It's not the right thing to say, but like Deathloop came out, and Deathloop, from what I remember, reviewed really well.
Arcane has always had this like curse of making really good games that review really well, and then nobody buys them.
Well, that's not even no one buys it. It's that it reviewed really well, and it had a lot of good feedback. People saying this is really fun, this is quite cool, characters are interesting, the mechanics interesting. And I played Deathloop, and I was just like, I don't like this. I'm not really having any fun. I couldn't tell you specific. I didn't play it long enough to be able to specifically tell you why. But it just didn't. And the same thing, I worry it will happen with this way. It's like this game comes out, it's Arcane, it's FPS, it's really, really good, and I play it, and I'm like, why? Why is it just like not clicking? Why am I not having?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making up scenarios before the game's even out, but I hope I hope that doesn't happen with this, because, or worst case scenario, it's also on Game Pass, right? So it's just like, check it out.
Yeah.
But that was so Redfall coming out. Spoke about it a bit earlier. Hi-Fi Rush is a surprise launch. Absolutely bananas, the fact that this is out by Tango Gameworks, the developers behind The Evil Within 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's decidedly nothing like The Evil Within. Yeah.
And it's on Game Pass, and it's pretty cheap on Steam as well, actually.
20 something, I think. Maybe 30, I can't quite remember. But yeah, it's not full price. But yeah, so Tango Gameworks, known for making Evil Within 1 and 2, suddenly come out with a rhythm-based character action game with a cel-shaded, saturated art style.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
I'm really excited for you to try this, Josh, because I think you will fucking love this game.
Yeah, no one in the world could have guessed that this game was coming out. Specifically by Tango Gameworks, out of nowhere on Game Pass. It's just like, it's unfathomable. It's so different to everything they've done before. We've spoke with a few people on Discord over the week about how horror games can be quite brutal to develop because there's lots of, obviously when you create anything art, you have reference, and horror game reference can be quite horrible. So it makes you think like they made 2 horror games and they're like, you know what, fuck this, let's make something fun, let's make something exciting, let's make something musical. But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's almost not fair to me because this is almost everything I love just in a blender. It's so weird how targeted this is towards me.
Yeah.
I would have played it already if I didn't have like a million other things that I'm halfway through. Because this came out, I got my Game Pass sub had run out, but I got it again almost instantly, and I was like, I'm gonna play this. And I was like, but I've got like there's like 2 or 3 games that I'm actually halfway through.
It's not short either. It's not like this is like a couple of hours or anything. This is a full. I think a lot of people are saying like 12 to 14 hours playthrough. But that's about how I feel where I'm at.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it though. More of this.
I want more games to just drop out of nowhere. That's such a fun, especially like hard left turns for studios like this. Like I want DICE to just come out tomorrow and say like, hey, we made a I don't know. Action RPG.
Here's a new rhythm game with a peripheral you got to buy, coming to you from Capcom.
Yeah.
Last one. I think it's the last. Yeah, last one. Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom. No, your internet has not cut out, everybody. we've all got nothing to say.
Has anyone here tried Elder Scrolls Online?
I own it. Never played it.
I own it, and I've logged on for the first 5 minutes, but it feels like a dated MMO at this point. And it annoyed me that it was like certain classes or races are limited to certain factions or something, and that you had to like pre-order to get them all, or it was in a weird spot. So
on the plus side, no subscription, right?
No, it's buy once, I think, and then just
and then they've got a bunch of DLC, I believe, DLC, and it's all free at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like I'm not sure if time has just passed me by at a really scary rate, but it feels like a new one of these comes out like every 10 months.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
I'm like, I could probably look it up, and I was like, when's the last one of this? Oh, like a year ago. But it feels like it's like every 4 months or something crazy.
It's like it's almost like every 2 weeks they're like Elder Scrolls Smorgasbord. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, good for them. Still going. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not a lot to say about that, but that was the whole show. So nothing amazing except for the shadow drop of Hi-Fi Rush, but I think it was 40 minutes long, start to finish. But it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be massive anyway. I don't think. But yeah. So next story after that, we've got a couple more stories. Few of them small. But next one is very recent. This is today, I think. It's about EA. They've got a couple stories about EA. Apex Mobile and Battlefield Mobile are just gone. or going.
What?
Yeah. So if I see if the dates are here, I might have to find the dates somewhere else. But I think Apex was April. But yeah, it's just
wow, that was fast.
EA update just saying these games are not performing as well as we thought they would. Despite Apex Mobile's strong start, the ongoing experience was not to meet the expectations. Was not going to meet the expectations of our players. After months of working with our development partner, we have made a mutual decision to sunset the mobile game. So yeah, Apex, as far as the console and PC versions, doing fine. Going to carry on as it is. Mobile version getting scrapped.
I can't think of a worse game to put on mobile than Apex Legends. Like a twitchy, hyper mobile precision movement shooter.
You say that, but like
touchscreen controls, I can't think of a worse pairing.
You say that, but stuff like PUBG and Call of Duty on mobile do really well. Maybe not quite as twitchy as Apex, but Call of Duty at least is mad.
Yeah, but those games, I guess. Yeah, maybe you're right. I just feel like things like, how you gonna use that grapple hook on a mobile? Your thumb's just smudging all over the screen. Like,
yeah. I feel like if it's just it might just be a certain number of games have just cemented themselves as the mobile games, and everyone is just maybe coming a little bit too late, and they can't take as big of a piece as they wanted. And if they can't have half the pie, I don't want none of the pie. Fuck all y'all. I'm leaving.
Yeah. Well, and it's similar to when we talked about that Final Fantasy Battle Royale, right? That came out and cancelled before any of us realized it even existed. And I feel like it's like you said when it comes to like monetization, where they're like, we'll take a punt at this. Maybe we'll be the next biggest thing in China or wherever, and then it'll pay for itself. And if not, whatever, we'll just close it in 6 months. Who cares? No one will play it anyway.
I feel like the Final Fantasy one I still applaud more, because that's like Final Fantasy doesn't have anything like that. So they tried something new that they could build. Whereas, as you said, the Apex one, why would you want Apex on mobile? They would have to, it's either going to be bad gameplay wise, or they'd have to change it so it's unrecognizable.
So it's carry on.
Yeah, it just seems like all these IPs are being like, look, we've got this mobile version and this mobile version. It's like, do you need a mobile version of it? Like, make a game that's like a spin-off but it's like with the upcoming Rainbow Six Siege mobile, that's going to be terrible. Like,
well, here's the thing about this is these games, their mobile versions are not for us. They are for more developing countries where that just mobile phones are abundant, but maybe not consoles and things are. So if you look at places like games like PUBG Mobile and Call of Duty Mobile and places like that, they're really popular in like India and other countries like that. And that's just where those markets are. It's like, because your response is correct, right? It's like, why would I play Apex Mobile when I can play Apex PC or something like that? Where it's like, again, you're not the market, basically, because you will just play Apex on PC as opposed to mobile. And I don't think it's not about getting you to play both. It's about getting you to play one of them. So it's like, if you're like, I'm not going to play Apex on mobile, I'll just play it on PC. They'll be like, fucking good. Like, as long as you're playing one of them. But yeah, so like I said, they're clearly not making as much money as they would have hoped. It seems weird to me, right? Because in my mind, as long as you recoup development costs, like, what's the issue if it's just ticking over? And do they feel like it's devaluing the brand by not being as big as it could be? That's what confuses me.
I guess you have to, because it's not, you don't just release Apex Mobile and then it's there. You have to. That means you have to deal with like Apple and the Google Play Store requirements and things like that. All your patches have to go through them now. And every time you release content for one version, people are going to be expecting you to release in, they want these live service games to be, they have to be in lockstep because there's cross progression and stuff. So now you're making now you're making the same patch, but like for 20 different platforms instead of just that's consoles and PC.
But that's my point, right? Whereas as long as they're at least recuperating that cost they put into having to co-develop the mobile version, is that not good enough? Or are these games literally not even doing that? Are they so are they so underwhelming in their market?
I presume it just they don't catch on. Nobody downloads them, so nobody's playing them. So
and that's what seems crazy to me, the potential of that, because we don't know for sure, right? We never will. We don't have the numbers, but
I can look at things like so Apex Legends Mobile on Apple. I've got the App Store here. It has 16,000 reviews. For context, Call of Duty Mobile has 124,000 reviews. So
it's
almost an order of magnitude more popular.
Is it literally not recuperating the cost it takes to keep a live service game going on mobile?
Yeah.
Like that could, as crazy as it seems, because Apex is so popular, like the original game. Yeah, it seems weird that you release it on mobile, no one
It's
cares.
It's like every time they release a skin, now they have to release the mobile version of. They have to make the mobile version of the skin at the same time, and it's like, well, no one's even buying this. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Just shutter it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and the Battlefield thing comes from they were developing a Battlefield mobile game, but that's just gone.
They can't get that to work on PC, so what are they?
I was going to say, yeah, Battlefield's in a weird spot altogether, right? Where it's like,
yeah,
you release a mobile game after 2042, people be shaking their heads.
Yeah.
They'll fucking eat you alive.
Yeah, Battlefield fans will love that. Classic.
But yeah, coming off of this EA news, we had a little bit more. There was this is quite a quick story, but you had EA adds a loot box system into the latest Skate beta. So Skate is in. We know now there's a new Skate game coming out, and it's in closed beta. The reason this is news is because I think they specifically put out a while ago. See if I can find this here. They basically specifically said how they were never going to put in loot boxes or anything into anything. So.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to find it.
Remember that?
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
This is the picture. No pay to win. No map areas locked behind paywalls. No paid loot boxes. No gameplay. Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
How to remove something from the internet. So that's
we accidentally dropped loot boxes into our
oops.
Our Skate game.
It's just a test. But yeah, so that's that one. Nothing else to really say about that right now. We'll just see how that develops, I guess. Last little one. This is new again as of I think yesterday. Star Wars Jedi Survivor delayed till April. So
shocker, game's delayed.
I mean, oh yeah, I know it's
only
your
to April though.
So it's 17th of March to where is it in April? Maybe it's just 28th of April. That's about 6 weeks.
I can't tell if that makes me like oh good, they're giving it the time it needs, right? But like what can you get done in a month and a half? Barely a month and a half that couldn't have been done in the last X amount of years development cycle.
Yeah.
Like is it one guy is just tweaking his hair and they're like, come on, we're shutting the lights down. Like, come on, we're gonna go get lunch. What are you doing? It's like, I just gotta finish this. And like, yeah, I can't tell if that makes me like reassured or even more nervous that they're like, are the people over at Respawn like, please, boss, please, we need more time. Please, this game is not ready. And they're like, you got a month. Get it done. You know what I mean?
If you want to tinfoil hat a little bit, this delay puts it, I believe, into a different fiscal year.
Oh yeah.
Whether that's to make the next year better by front loading this, or maybe the previous fiscal year has been so good that we can just push into the next one because the previous one's already doing great. So we'll just,
Is this the first game to blink in this weird game of chicken we've got going on this year? Like, is anything else huge coming out in March?
I don't think so. You got Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Oh, I'd get out of the way of the RE4 remake, but
that's kind of it, right? I don't think it's anything else really labeled for March. There's lots of stuff in February.
I've got it. Peaky Blinders VR PC. Peaky Blinders VR out March 9th.
I can be Thomas Shelby. Boy, you motherfuckers, play my game.
Is that your silly?
That was so bad. I'm so sorry. Let's move on. Steve, what's coming out? Save me, Steve. Come on.
Hey, there's only one game that looked kind of interesting this week, and it's on February 2nd. It's called Your Only Move is Hustle.
Your Only Move is Hustle.
This game, the trailer seemed to be the most interesting. It looks like it's a fighting game, but it's turn-based, where you kind of have to code in your moves as to fight.
This looks bananas. What the fuck am I looking at, Steve?
I don't know.
Play that part again. What the fuck? Play that again. What the hell am I looking at? Look.
Yeah, you kind of like you take in your turns to pre-planning your moves, and then it auto fights.
This looks like when Street Fighter V launched, and it was laggy as fuck.
But I think it's sped up to show you off. But yeah, this it looked like an interesting concept at least.
I feel like I played this on Newgrounds like 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I was gonna say Flash game. Isn't that Hogwarts game out like next week?
That's on the 10th, so not next week.
Oh, this date move's got me. This day move has got me all out of whack.
What is the 10th? Is that Tuesday? Is it releasing on
Friday?
Is it Friday? Okay, I wasn't sure because certain games release like on a weird Tuesday, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next big. That's the next biggie. Is
yes, I can tell you the other games that are coming out this month. So because there's quite a lot that
it's tons, isn't it? Yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay, so on February 10th we've got Hogwarts Legacy, which will be a controversial launch, but hopefully an interesting one.
That game, I know it's going to be controversial launch. That game's going to sell insane amounts of copies.
It's going to sell insane, and I'm sure people will be eager to distribute links to it as well. On February 15th, we have the Returnal PC port coming.
Oh, that game is so good.
Yeah, and then on February 17th, we have Wild Hearts, which is EA's answer to Monster Hunter.
I got a new trailer the other day. I didn't watch it because I'm actually planning on playing that game, so it's just like,
Is that EA?
It is EA, yeah.
I believe so.
It is EA. It's EA's weird Monster Hunter. Kinda looks Sekiro-y.
What? Who's the developer? Dice.
Koei Tecmo.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
Well, you don't think EA could make this? You don't think EA made this weird wheel vehicle thing?
I don't know, there's a bunch of games that look a lot like Wild Hearts coming out this year, and they've all sort of blended together in my head.
I know what you mean. There's also that like Wukong
is
game.
That Team Ninja one that's coming out at some point, right?
Yeah. There was specifically a Team Ninja because the trailer we all started shouting Neo 3, but it wasn't Neo 3. It was like some other.
Yes. Yeah. What was that? Yeah.
Was it even real? Did it even happen?
It was a fever dream.
Collective fever dream. We all dreamt some fake Neo 3 game coming out. This looks really cool. I'm excited to check this out. Where's that image? Look at this fucking huge hedgehog boy.
I like that. I was going to say, yeah, I'm so down for hedgehog boy.
Crystals in his. He's like a porcupine, I think. We're going to get specific. Got like crystals and shit. It's like this game. I hope it's good. Koei Tecmo. We'll see.
I hope Labu's in it.
Yeah. Koei Tecmo for me is kind of like their games feel a little jank. They're good games, but they
play Neo. Neo's pretty good.
I've played
if you like
Neo.
Souls. Oh right, okay.
Played both, I think. They're good games. Still feel a little bit weird though.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
But yeah, what else, Steve?
On the 21st, we have Atomic Heart.
I mean, you say that. Whether or not it actually comes out, we'll see.
We'll see if that game is real, yeah.
Atomic Heart deniers.
The game is... I'm sorry, people excited for Atomic Heart. That game is not real.
Is that really this month as well?
Yeah, 21st. Yeah.
Bloody hell, this is...
They keep releasing a bunch of trailers for this game. Like every week is like trailer. If they
Swagger just posted one in the Discord. I'm gonna watch it after this. Yeah.
If they'd spent half the time making the game as they did making trailers, they would have had an actual game to show.
On February 22nd, we have Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Oh, that's Horizon VR,
game,
right?
I believe. Yeah. On February 23rd, we have Sons of the Forest.
That feels like... You go.
February stacked.
Yeah.
How are we already stacked? And it's only February.
Okay, I know it's already been delayed, But why does it feel like... I know Steve's the one who's like, it's going to get delayed. Why do I feel like this will get delayed again?
Horizon never delays their games. They just let it get overtaken.
No, I mean Sons of the Forest. Sorry.
Sons of the Forest. Because, I mean, it's early access survival, right?
Is this confirmed early access?
I don't know.
Or is it just out?
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually.
I have to just wait and see. No price either. I assume it'll be a full price game.
Yeah, you are right. If anything was to get pushed back, I could see Sons of the Forest getting delayed again. But it's already been delayed so many times. Like,
that's what I mean.
Can't keep doing it.
What's one more?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah.
Then on also February 23rd, we have Blood Bowl 3, which I know is a bit more of a niche game, but
another one.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be weird, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it. I think Sam would be the one who might know about this.
This game isn't coming out.
The actual delay.
This game's not coming out in February.
Actual fake
I saw people play the beta in the most recent beta, and like clearly the visuals were mostly done, but like mechanically the game was not sorted, and that's surely the hardest bit in a game like this.
It might just be
I would assume the visuals for a Warhammer game based off models, probably not the hardest thing to get right, you know? I don't want to undersell it, but...
It might just be like, we don't care. This is the date. Rain or shine. This game comes out on this day.
You know what? I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I've played my fair share of Blood Bowl 2. That game could do with a delay, and it's been out for like 10 years.
It was just like, as you're there, I don't know anything about, again, Blood Bowl specifically, but like, this game can't come out. It's a mess and it's not finished. Like, well, that won't stop a game coming out. It can happen.
Plus, Sam, it's beta, okay? They'll fix it in the 2 weeks they've got to launch. Yeah.
I'll fix it later.
Okay, on February 24th, we have Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh my god, there's more.
There's one more after this as well.
No, I meant Octopath specifically.
I'm excited for it. Again, I think Octopath Traveler, I really liked the first one, even though it did have problems. But they have even from the first, like they put out like a demo / beta of this game. They changed a bunch based on feedback from the demo, and then they released the game. Had its problems, but they also for this one seem to have fixed a lot of the issues that people had with the first one. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, this game's got a lot to prove to me. Before I jump in, I jumped straight into Octopath 1 because I was so excited, and I just came away so let down.
These games, like the Octopath Traveler, the Bravely Default, the Triangle Strategy, usually come with a demo before they release. So I'm expecting that we'll see a demo soon. There was actually like a rumor going around that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this week. So maybe we might get a demo for it soon, and then we'll have to see.
I've got to say as well, I don't want to come across as like really jaded, but seeing this now compared to when Octopath Traveler 1 was unveiled, HD 2D, or whatever you want to call it, doesn't do much for me anymore. I feel like I've seen it enough now that I'm like...
you don't think? I think this is gorgeous.
I still think it looks good.
I don't even like those games, and this sells me on it.
Don't get me wrong, I do still think it looks nice, but like, I remember when the first game was shown, I was like, oh my god. This is amazing. And now I've seen a few of these games in this art style.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not as wowzer as it was for me. That's not a massive sell for me anymore. So I just hope the game is good, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the 28th, we have the Destiny 2 expansion, Lightfall.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to play that.
I don't even know how you buy Destiny anymore.
I don't think you do. I think it just shows up in your Steam library at some point.
It comes through my letterbox.
I just boot up my PC and I'm like, Destiny, I don't remember installing you. And then I'm already like, it's days later and I haven't slept. And,
yeah. What I will say about Lightfall is it had, I think, the coolest trailer of the Game Awards.
I wouldn't know how to dispute that.
Well,
I don't even remember what happened at the Game Awards.
The reason why I think it's one of my favorite trailers is because it's one of the only ones that I remember. So
I guess so. Yeah.
It had a really cool song, and just the trailer was really good. It's we've said this a million times, but it's cheating though, right? Putting grapple hooks in anything is literally cheating.
Yeah.
But how do we make something 10 times cooler? Give them more grapple hooks and make them do combos and swing, and it's like, it's cheating. It's literally cheating. This looks cool though. I don't know if I've got it in me to get into Destiny 2, but I'll admire this from afar, I guess.
From a healthy distance. That's probably for the best.
From a healthy distance, whilst I just consume nothing but RuneScape. I've already got my drug of choice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What else is coming out, Steve?
That's it for February. As I said, it's quite a stacked month.
That can't be it. We only had like 15 games. There's got to be more.
There's probably some more but games will get delayed or whatnot. Or
I did miss Company of Heroes 3 is also coming out that month. Not many of us care about Company of Heroes anymore, I don't think. But
is that an RTS or a third-person tactics game?
It's the Relic RTS, yeah.
It is an RTS.
And then apparently that Scars Above game is coming out. At the end of the month
is that like a big diamond in the sky or something?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
That's all I remember. Is that trailer where they had like a weird thing like that? One last thing before we go. One last little quick thing before we go. I'm just going to ask very quickly because Steve's just listed them all. What are you most excited for out of that long list of stuff for February? Just
I've already forgotten the first couple that he said. It was such a long list for February.
Yeah, I can post it in our podcast chat. But I think for me, it's Octopath Traveler 2 is the safest bet for me.
Oh, really?
Yes. As I said, I really loved the music and the art style of the first one, and I thought the characters were very interesting to me, and I'm excited for them to do have 8 new characters, and for them to I'm assuming it'll get as much polish and care and attention as the first one, and now there'll be an overarching story as well with them all in. So I am very excited.
I feel like Wild Hearts has the potential to really sneak up on people and just be really good.
Which one's?
That's the Monster Hunter Koei Tecmo.
Oh, for God's sake! How did I already forget that?
It's been literally 7 minutes.
Yeah, I know, but there's an Apple Arcade original that I think is called Wild Hearts or something, and I kept thinking it's that.
You think it's? Oh God, is that called Arizona Hearts?
No. I'll look.
Oh, we'll wrap this up and get out of here. We're basically at our 2-hour mark. Thank you for listening, everybody. If you've been hanging around in chat, or you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, anywhere else, thank you for hanging around. We're going to do our socials and then wrap this up and get out of here. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks on everything. You can find me if you want to find me. What about you, Will?
Hello. You know where to find me.
Oh God, he's lagged out again. Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix. That's QUIKWIX, and I'll be playing a variety of games on my Twitch stream in the mornings, UK mornings.
And Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam, and more people keep following me on Twitter somehow. But
yes,
I love that. I want you to slowly become the most followed person out of everyone.
I think it was Swagger. Swagger's the next person.
He's found you.
Find me.
All right, let's get out of here. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Goodbye.